There are people in your life who never shouted to control you. They didn't need fists or threats or bruises. All they needed was doubt, planted softly, repeated slowly, until it grew into a voice inside you, one that sounded a lot like your own. This is manipulation, but not the kind you notice. Not at first. This kind disguises itself as care, as concern, as closeness. It doesn't enter like a storm. It seeps in like fog, and by the time you realize you're in it, you can't even see yourself clearly anymore. The first tactic is gaslighting, not just lying, not just denial, but rewriting your reality until you start asking, am I going crazy? They won't yell at you. They'll calmly say, that never happened. You're too emotional. You're overthinking everything again. They chip away at your memory, your intuition, your truth. And every time you try to stand your ground, they shift it just enough to make you fall again. At first you fight back. You argue. You defend your version of the story, but slowly their version becomes louder, sharper, more convincing, and eventually you stop trusting your own eyes, your own mind. You question every feeling before you speak. You shrink mid-sentence. You rehearse conversations in your head and still end up apologizing. That's what gaslighting does. It makes you betray yourself before they even have to. The second tactic is triangulation. It doesn't look like manipulation. It looks like a casual comparison, a joke, an innocent comment. Even my therapist agrees you're difficult. My ex never had a problem with that. Honestly, everyone thinks you're overreacting. And suddenly, it's not just between you and them anymore. Now you're fighting the opinions of invisible people, or worse, real ones, twisted into ammunition. Triangulation is a weapon that doesn't leave a mark. It isolates you emotionally, makes you feel surrounded by judgment. And the worst part? You start doubting whether your pain is even valid. If no one else seems to agree with it, you begin comparing yourself to others, trying to measure up, trying to be less difficult, trying to be more like the version of you they praise to others, the version that doesn't question. You stop expressing hurt because it never stays private. You stop drawing boundaries because they always find a way around them. So you stay quiet, thinking it'll keep you safe. But silence in this kind of dynamic isn't safety, it's submission. The third tactic is projection. This one's quiet and confusing and deeply unfair. They lie and accuse you of dishonesty. They withdraw and say you're the one being distant. They cross lines and call you controlling. It's a psychological mirror, but it's turned backward. And if you don't see it for what it is, you'll start cleaning up messes you never made. Projection is how manipulators protect their own self-image. By outsourcing the shame, the guilt, the blame, they can't face their shadow, so they make you carry it for them. And when you try to speak the truth, they flip the narrative. Suddenly, you're the problem. You're unstable, you're attacking. So you start walking on eggshells around explosions you didn't cause. But here's the deeper truth. None of these tactics work by force. They work through confusion, through repetition, through moments that seem too small to matter until they all add up. And by the time you realize what's happening, you're already tangled, emotionally dependent, doubtful of your own mind. And that's the final layer of manipulation no one talks about. It trains you to stay, because you start to believe that leaving is selfish, that standing up for yourself is being dramatic, that maybe this is just what relationships are supposed to feel like. That's how deep it goes, not just into your mind, but into your sense of identity. But now that you see it, even just a little, everything starts to shift. Not overnight, not perfectly, but permanently. Because you can't unsee what your body already knew. You always knew something was off. You always felt it, in the pit of your stomach, in the weight on your chest, in the way your voice trembled before you spoke. You knew. And that is the beginning of freedom. Not rage, not revenge, just clarity. Here's what healing actually looks like. It looks like catching the pattern and naming it. It looks like setting boundaries, even if they get ignored. It looks like choosing silence, not to submit, but to protect your peace. It looks like trusting your instincts again, even when no one else validates them. Because you don't need a courtroom to claim your reality. You just need permission from yourself. Let them rewrite the story. Let them call you sensitive. Let them deny everything. Your truth doesn't need their permission, it just needs your acceptance. And if you've seen yourself in this, if these words cut through your chest like a mirror, know this: you're not too sensitive. You're not broken, you're not imagining it. You were manipulated, quietly, subtly, repeatedly. But now, you're remembering who you are. And they can't control someone who finally sees clearly. If this made you feel exposed, let it also make you feel empowered. You are not alone in this, and the fact that you're still listening means the fog is lifting, slowly, gently, but without turning back.